Yeah, so I'm making this video to basically talk about um like the harsh criticisms that I've been receiving, I guess, from the Nigong community and stuff. And it's all good. I'm not upset or anything. In fact, I think in a lot of ways, I think I deserve it. And I am actually grateful. I want to this is a video of me just expressing how grateful I am that um, a lot of, people are actually watching my content and talking about it at least. I think from some of the really high level Nigong people out there, practitioners out there, my content's probably like a joke. And I get that. And I totally respect their opinion. And, I think that um, my content honestly isn't that high level. And I'm just being real with you guys. I think like from really basic people, like people that are doing like Reiki and stuff. My content's probably like amazing. It's like next level stuff. But like from my standard, my content's low level. My content's not very good. And I think the Nigong people feel the same way. And the Nigong people, at least in my eyes, what I mean, there's other, spiritual sects out there, spiritual modalities and stuff like that out there. But like, I think at least for me, the Nigong people are like the most highest caliber of people. I think the Nigong people are like the black belts of spiritual people, if you will. At least that's the way I see it. You can like, feel like there's other people that are superior or whatever. But but yeah, Nigong's pretty amazing, and I think, I've been hearing from multiple sources lately. I've been speaking to a lot of people, people saying like, wow, Energy Apprentice Ken, his like, content sucks, and he's just a joke and he's a clown and all this kind of stuff. And the people that he's interviewing are clowns and stuff. And I get it, I get that you feel that way. And, I don't think I'm a clown. I think I'm just a guy who's just asking questions and who's just trying to, extract as much knowledge as possible. And I'm doing the best I can to create entertaining content. But, I get it. I get it if you feel that way. It's not, it's probably totally true from like really high level people's thinking. And as I said in the beginning, like, I see it as a compliment. I genuinely see it as a compliment. I genuinely see it as like, basically, yeah, they're giving me good feedback. Like in martial arts, like I do jiu-jitsu and stuff. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do it anymore because lately I've been getting way too beat up and battered. My knees messed up and all this kind of stuff. But anyways, uh, just, feedback is good. Feedback from like high level people is good. And, you can't, you can't take it as an insult. You know what I mean? Like when a black belt martial art is like, giving a white belt feedback, it's not an insult. It's like a genuine feedback. Like, hey, your content sucks, and like you're a joke. If they tell you that, you gotta like take that in the heart and like, upgrade. You gotta take that in the heart and say, you know what, he's right. These high level guys are telling me to upgrade. I gotta upgrade. I gotta do better. And that's the mindset I'm trying to have, and I think that's the right mindset to have. In the past, I may have been like, oh my gosh, these guys are trolling. These guys are haters, and these guys are rude and disrespectful and stuff. And like, no, I just don't look at life in that kind of mentality anymore. I look at it like I said, good feedback, and I appreciate feedback. There's some dude who commented a few weeks ago saying like, you lack humility and respect and all this kind of stuff when I made the self-sabotaging video. And and at first I was like, what the, like, I lack humility, like what, like I was kind of insulted. But you know what, I think he's right. Like, I think in a lot of ways I lack humility and I lack a lot of virtuous mentalities and stuff. And I'm human, dude. Like I'm not perfect, obviously, but and some people say I'm like too hard on myself in a lot of ways. But you know what, like, I think it's a good quality of mine and a bad quality of mine. But like, it's all good. It's just all good. Like what I'm ultimately trying to say is like, feedback, as far as feedback goes, like I'm going to take it in the heart. And, when someone says something that's not very nice or pleasant, I'm going to take it in the heart and say, you know what, I got to do better. You know what I mean? I think they're telling the truth, like, and also, yeah, a lot of people say like, my talking skills aren't that great. My speech isn't that great and stuff. And I totally agree with that too. I got to upgrade and I got to do better in that department as well. So there's a lot of work for me to do. And also, a lot of people aren't aware that, English is my second language, but that's besides the point. I'm doing the best I can, but still no excuses, like I don't believe in excuses, and, excuses are for wuss. That's a quote by Spencer Lee, who's a wrestler I deeply respect. But yeah, a lot of work that needs to be done, and, a lot of upgrades that I need to make in my life. And as far as the Nigong people goes, like I said, I treat them with, the utmost respect. Teachers like, Zhao Shi or Rudy or, Daniel Mitchell, Max Christensen. These guys are like, I put them on the pedestal because I think like they're the masters and they're like the most amazing people out there. And like, when they say something, I listen. When they're, producing content and like sharing wisdom, I listen, I pay attention, because like, they're the man, they earned the rights to, be called like teacher. And I'm not there yet, but, like I definitely respect them. And, one day, hopefully I can admit Fachi and all this kind of stuff too, but I don't know, maybe not, it's all good. It's all good if I don't, but yeah. But yeah, the point of this video is just to talk about just the harsh criticisms that I've been, well, I wouldn't say harsh, but, criticisms that I've been receiving, about upgrading my content in general. And, I'm going to take it in the heart, and I'm going to do better, and as far as like my speaking skills and all this kind of stuff too, I'm going to try to, upgrade that too and be better at that as well. And editing and lighting and everything else as well, just make upgrades. So I'm committed to that, and, I'm going to try to do better. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and, we'll see you guys soon.